All right, so let's dive into something, I mean, we literally can't live without these days, smartphones.
Yeah.
Remember, though, like way back when we called them cell phones?
Yeah.
And they were mostly good for like awkward conversations and like, can you hear me now?
And giant bags to carry them in.
Oh my gosh, yes.
You're right. It's easy to forget how quickly those clunky bricks turned into these like pocket-sized supercomputers
Right.
that we rely on for, well, everything.
Everything. And that's what we're talking about today.
Yeah.
This isn't just like a new phone deep dive. This is how they've like reshaped shopping,
Mm-hmm.
connecting, even like how our brains work.
Absolutely.
But okay, let's rewind all the way back to the beginning.
Okay.
What was mobile internet?
Yeah.
Even like back when it first kind of like, I don't know, stumbled out into the world.
Imagine this. You've snagged the latest greatest phone,
Yeah.
right? Circa early 2000s.
Okay.
It probably costs like a small fortune.
Yeah.
And you're all stoked to like browse the web on this thing. Only catch. Those early GSM networks, they crawled along at a measly 14.4 kilobits per second.
My gosh.
To put that in perspective, you're probably streaming this deep dive at, what, like 1,000 times that speed?
I was going to say, I'm definitely not waiting for anything to load right now.
Yeah.
But I vaguely, like, my brain is trying to block it out, but I vaguely remember the pain.
Sure.
And wasn't it also, like, insanely expensive
Yep.
to even think about being online back then?
Oh, absolutely. We were used to paying per minute for calls.
Okay, yeah.
But data, forget about it. Each kilobyte was precious,
Really?
which made, like, actually doing anything online pretty anxiety-inducing.
Oh, I bet.
Do you remember refreshing the page, like, every few seconds, praying your connection didn't drop?
Okay. See, those are the memories I've blocked out.
Yeah.
It's like collectively we all said, nope, we're going to forget that.
Right.
The tiny blurry screens, the keyboards, that like I felt like they were designed for ants.
Yeah.
Trying to type an email on those things was an Olympic sport.
And you're lucky if your battery even lasted long enough to finish that email.
Oh my gosh, right?
Early smartphones had notoriously short battery lives.
Yeah.
Especially if you were brave enough to even attempt to, like, use the internet.
Right. It's amazing how far we've come. But there had to be some like major turning points along the way.
Oh, yeah.
Like what were the big leaps that took us from like barely being able to send a text to like streaming live concerts in HD on these things?
Well, the jump to high-resolution screens was huge.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Suddenly, we could actually, like, enjoy videos, games on the go.
Right.
Which seems obvious now, but back then, that was, like, game changer.
Totally.
And with more processing power came this, like, explosion of apps.
Oh, yeah.
Remember when, like, downloading a new app felt like magic?
You're telling me, I remember downloading my first like GPS app and thinking, wait, I don't need those giant road atlases anymore.
Right.
It felt like the future had like arrived in my hand.
It did.
But things really shifted with 3G, didn't they?
Oh, absolutely.
Like that was the game changer.
3G was like trading in your bicycle for a sports car.
Right.
Suddenly, browsing the web on your phone was actually enjoyable.
Okay. Yeah.
We could stream music, download files at, like, reasonable speeds,
Right.
and finally say goodbye to those awful mobile-only websites.
Oh, they were the worst.
They were the
They were
worst.
really bad. And it wasn't just the technology itself. Like 3G, that really changed, I think, our relationship with information in a lot of ways.
Yeah, absolutely.
Think about like shopping before smartphones.
Right.
You were kind of like at the mercy of whatever that salesperson decided to tell you.
That's true, yeah.
That was it.
Retailers held all the cards back then.
They did.
But then smartphones show up, and
Yeah.
suddenly consumers, they have this, like, world of information in their pockets.
Yes.
Want to know if that sweater shrinks in the wash?
Right.
Check the, like, reviews before you even buy it?
Before you even like touch it.
Exactly.
I bet those salespeople though were not thrilled about that.
Yeah, probably not.
When everyone starts whipping out their phone to fact check them in the aisle.
You're not wrong. The numbers tell the story, too.
Oh, really?
According to one study, a whopping 66% of shoppers, they would rather consult their phone than ask an employee for help.
Whoa.
That's like 2/3 of us saying, nope,
Right.
I trust the internet more than your sales pitch.
Can you blame us, really? Like, honestly?
Right.
I'd rather have instant access to, like, thousands of opinions and, like, price comparisons
Mhm.
than just rely on whatever, a potentially very biased salesperson's telling me.
Yeah, absolutely.
But this goes way beyond just like in-store browsing though, right?
Oh, absolutely.
This is everything now.
By 2024, almost half of all online shopping is predicted to happen on smartphones.
Yeah.
That means we've gone from like struggling to load a basic website to, doing our entire holiday shopping on a screen that fits in our pocket.
I know. But okay, let's be honest though. It's not all sunshine and roses, right?
Right.
Like smartphones, yeah, maybe they've made us like savvier shoppers.
Right.
But they've also like ushered in this whole era of like hyper-personalized ads.
Yes.
And those recommendations that are like eerily accurate.
Yes.
Like the ones that make you feel like your phone is like secretly listening to your conversations.
That's the double-edged sword of the data age.
Right.
Brands, they quickly realized they had to adapt to this new breed of like informed, empowered consumer. And the best way to do that, use our data to, tailor our online experiences.
Totally.
Sometimes with like almost unsettling accuracy.
Yes.
Think about like those times you see an ad for something you literally just talked about.
Oh, tell me about it.
Right.
Just last week, I was talking to my friend about needing new running shoes, and bam! Suddenly, like, my entire Instagram feed is, like, nothing but running shoes.
It happens to all of us.
It's both impressive and a little creepy at the same time.
It is. It's a trade-off we make for, like, the convenience and personalization these devices offer.
Right.
But it brings up a really fascinating point.
Okay.
It's not just how we shop that's changed. It's, like, how we think.
Okay.
Our brains have had to, like, adapt to this like, always-on, information-saturated world.
Okay, now this is where it gets really interesting.
Yeah.
So our smartphones, they haven't just become, like, extensions of ourselves. They've actually, like, reshaped our minds.
It's possible.
That's kind of a scary thought. It's kind of a wild thought, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, could our great-grandparents even imagine living like this?
Right.
Like, constantly bombarded with notifications and updates and...
It's a completely different experience of time and attention, really.
Right.
Remember when you could actually be, like, unreachable?
Oh, my gosh.
When you could, like, sit down to read a book and not feel this, like, urge to, like, check your phone every 5 minutes.
Honestly, sometimes I feel like my phone is, like, surgically attached to my hand.
Right.
But, yeah, you're right. It's like there's this unspoken pressure now to be, like, constantly available.
Yes.
Like, if you don't respond to a text within, like, 5 minutes, people are like, are you okay? Did you fall off the grid? What happened?
Exactly.
Wow.
And it's not just social pressure. It's like our brains have actually adapted to, like, consuming information in these, like, bite-sized, easily digestible chunks.
Totally.
Like, think about it. When was the last time you, like, sat down and actually read a long-form article, like, start to finish?
Okay, yeah, you got me there.
Yeah.
I'm way more likely to, like, skim the headlines and, like, scroll through social media than I am to, like, dedicate my full attention span to a, like, 10-page article.
Right.
Like, it's almost like our attention spans have been fragmented.
Fragmented is a good word for it.
Yeah.
And this, like, constant influx of information, it's like introduced this whole new set of anxieties, too.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like data limits.
Oh, my gosh. Yes. Data limits.
Can you imagine, like, explaining to someone from, like, the 1980s that, like, we have to, like, ration our internet usage?
Right.
Because we could get, like, charged extra
Yes.
for using too much of it.
The dreaded data limit. Like,
Yeah.
it's become this weird modern-day anxiety that, like, our ancestors never had to deal with.
Exactly.
We're constantly like, how much data have I used?
Yes.
Okay. Got to ration out my TikTok minutes for the rest of the month.
Where's the Wi-Fi password?
Yes, exactly.
It's like this thing that's just like so ingrained in our lives now. It's not even like a tool we use anymore. It's just like part of us.
Right, exactly.
We've built all these like habits and anxieties and like honestly probably even our self-worth around this stuff.
Totally. And it's not going anywhere, right? Like, that's the thing. We're talking about how much it's already changed. So where does it go from here?
Right. Well, buckle up because the future is moving faster than ever.
Oh, no. What does that even mean?
We're talking like 5G becoming the norm.
Okay.
Which will unleash speeds and possibilities we can barely imagine right now.
Okay.
Imagine downloading like entire movies in seconds or experiencing augmented reality that's so realistic you can barely even tell the difference between like the virtual and like the real.
Okay, now that just sounds like showing off.
Right.
But, I mean, seriously, the things we'll be able to do like with that kind of speed and power, that's insane.
It's mind-boggling, and it's not just about faster speeds.
Okay.
Get ready for the quote-unquote Internet of Things to like truly arrive.
Here we go.
We're not just talking like smartwatches here. We're talking about like your refrigerator, like automatically ordering groceries, your car driving itself, like your entire house responding to your like voice commands,
Right.
all orchestrated through that little device in your pocket.
Part of me still feels like that sounds like a sci-fi movie. But the way things are going, I wouldn't be surprised if it all happened at like way sooner than we think.
Right. And as all of this technology continues to evolve, one thing is for certain.
What's that?
The smartphone will be at the center of it all.
Right. It's amazing to think that we've gone from those like clunky bricks, where you could like barely hear the other person,
I know.
to these like pocket-sized devices that connect us to the world, shape how we think, and maybe even determine our future.
Yeah.
It's been a wild ride, and it sounds like it's only just beginning.
It's the beauty of it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
The only thing we know for sure about the future of smartphones is that it's full of possibilities.
So there you have it, a deep dive into the world of smartphones.
Yeah.
From their very humble beginnings to their potentially world-changing future.
Totally.
Who knows what amazing advancements and challenges await us, right? But one thing is for sure, it's going to be a pretty wild ride.